guy I get pissed off at. But otherwise, that uh, Emily has seen me full on Monty fucking drunk on here along with Jarvis, so that's no biggie. I'm cool with it.
Oh, if you've ever been to NAFO after dark, you've seen me full on fucked up.
I'm a Marine. I ain't nothing. I'm like, yeah, I've done some pretty dumb shit in my life. Actually, a whole lot of dumb shit in my life. But that's what I get for being a Marine.
I've had drinking contests with Marines and won, so it's fun seeing me
What's up,
full on
Emily?
screwed up.
Hi, Brian. Thanks for having the space. I can be here for 30 minutes. First of all, I want to say I love a tipsy Wolverine. You're at your best. And secondly, I know Brian didn't want to spill the beans, but at the space at 5 p.m., we're gonna also have Rolf, the commander of the Norman Brigade, as a guest. He was trying to do a space earlier today. He's new at hosting, and it crashed 3 times. And I told him, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Can you just join Brian's at 5 p.m.? So he'll be there to answer any questions, and he'd love to educate people on the situation on the ground. Thanks.
Wait, is it 5 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Pacific?
Eastern.
Oh, okay. That might be a little awkward then.
Yeah, Eastern. Yeah, because I trying to strike a balance, and also it was a bit of my schedule because I knew I was going to be in a hotel room by myself with no pets, no kids. Uh, and you take those opportunities when you can get them. How's the moving going, fam?
Honestly, I'm kind of losing my mind, but it's our last day. Just so over it, dude. I can't wait. 5 p.m.
So if you could rewind, would you have hired movers to at least move some of the stuff?
What did you ask? Sorry.
If you could rewind the tape, would you do movers to help you with some of the stuff?
100%, but we're too far in now. We're at the very end. It's just cleaning at this point. Broom cleaning. You know the drill. It's hot. Of course, it's been.
Oh yeah.
We thought we were gonna have rain the next few days, and now it's like super sunny. It's just a nightmare, but we're good. We're good.
Well, you pulled the plug on the air conditioning too early. Well, I guess you kind of had no choice. If this is your last day, you have to have it cut off, the power cut off.
No, the other apartment had window units, and they're all unplugged, and it's not worth plugging them back in. That's all.
Gotcha.
Did you at least like put everything in boxes and mark them like kitchen, bedroom?
Gina, I write like paragraphs and like kitchen shelf, second shelf, kitchen cabinet, second shelf down.
Oh my God!
Which of course
Oh,
doesn't
God bless you, just like me.
You need counseling if you're getting into that level of detail. My God.
You know,
You're a control freak. Oh.
Last time we fucking moved, everybody grabbed our stuff. We moved in 24 hours. We just moved like a block away. And everybody grabbed our stuff and just threw it in our house everywhere. And we didn't have time to mark our shit. And it's still half of it's in boxes. And oh my God, that's not the way I move. I like write paragraphs on the boxes. I'm just like you. I'm very orderly. And it like, I'm so insane with the fucking mess. I'm just like paralyzed insane. You know how you get paralyzed because of a mess? I'm like that. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what do I do with this shit?
Well, that's the point of writing the long stuff on the boxes, and we can move on from this topic, but it unparalyzes you because it's a direction sheet once you get it to the other side, right? So it's worth it.
I will never, ever move myself. I will always hire someone after 2 times while in the Marine Corps. Fuck that.
Yeah, that's how I feel from now on. Next time I move, unless I'm just like taking a few things with me, I'm probably going to get a dumpster and throw everything inconsequential in the dumpster and just like take my major appliances and like a week's worth of clothing, and everything else is going in the dumpster or on a yard sale. because I hate throwing things away that can be reused. Um, because I just hate moving that freaking much.
So, how I imagine the military process is pretty good in terms of they've got the moving part down. What was your experience like with having the military move your shit?
Awesome for me.
For me, it was easy. I mean, it's I mean, because all they do is you just set up the shipping date with TMO or whoever does it, whatever base you're at, and you say, hey, I'm leaving by this day and such like that, and they say okay. Then they do everything else. They contact the movers and stuff like that. All you have to do is just if there's anything that you want to like take with you, they just tell you to put it off, put it separate, and they won't touch that stuff. But they pack up everything, and then you don't have to worry about it until you get to the next place. And then at least where I was at, they also had another company because one thing the military personnel hate doing is cleaning the fucking house when they're PCSing. So they actually had a cleaning company. You hire them. It was only like $150, but they were like certified enough so that when you left, they would clean it to the standard of what the Marine Corps required, and that was it. I was like I didn't do. Well, I wasn't in country anyways. I was in another country at the time when it happened, but I had no fucking issue.
It's good to hear. They kind of need to be experts at that because they move you all around a lot.
And they are. They're great. You don't have to worry about a thing. The one thing about moving yourself is you get a check for the weight, but it's so not worth it. Just let them move you.
I'm in so much pain right now. Anyway, Leslie's got her hand.
Oh,
Go ahead, Leslie.
Oh yeah, I share your pain, and moving does suck. I've probably moved like 100 times in my life or more. Like my actual posters coming off the wall, kind of moving, not just going on a trip. But the last major move I did was from northern. It's like sort of like parallel to Alaska, northern Canada, Yellowknife, down south to Toronto. So kind of like kitty corner across Canada, and at that point you're like paying by the pound, you're not paying by the time. And I had to wait with this shipping company, like you have to go with, like, they'll take 2 families or 2 loads or whatever, 3 down south kind of thing, whoever's going to Toronto. So I booked on one. So when you're going around thinking like, do I really want to take this liter full of fucking dollar store shampoo across the fucking, you start weighing things in your hand. I'm like, you're paying by the pound and you know how much. It's just like, so I dumped a lot of stuff, and yeah, it was still like, it was about $3,000 Canadian, which is like about like $50 American. I would say that, but anyway, that was fun.
Yeah, when you're paying, you definitely find out what you want and what you don't want. It's amazing what you don't want when you're paying a lot of money to transport it.
I've got bruises in the weirdest places. One's on my face. I don't know. It's really weird. Just boxes everywhere. Oh my God. Leslie, I don't know how you did that. Oh boy.
Well, the only reason I could do it, like Brian's talking about being like kidless and petless in the hotel room, is like my sister and her partner. I was really having a hard time. I was working like shift work nights with my 2-year-old son, and that was like kind of what triggered the move. Oh, we'll help you get, why don't you send your son here with Ariane, like, and you can have a couple months to yourself, get out of Yellowknife. And so that's the only reason even with movers, it's just like so much. It is like so much to do. But the last time here in Ottawa, I wanted to get rid of stuff. I literally put a big tarp out on my lawn. There's lots of kids here. And I sat down with like, I'm going to go through that fucking crap box drawer number 3 right now outside on the tarp. And I'm just going to sort and throw shit on the tarp, and then people can come take it. And so I've been doing that. Like today I'm going through my kids' fucking toys and art stuff. And then, so I like that kind of just right there, like seeing it go.
I do have like some stuff that one, I don't trust the movers with, and two, I don't think they'll take it. But the stuff equals out to like, I don't know, 2 to 3,000 pounds, and I have to move that stuff all by myself. The movers won't move it.
Don't you have like a tank for that or something, Wolverine?
I have a cargo truck. I don't have a tank yet. Working on it.
I've seen a picture of your truck. That thing's massive, if I remember it correctly.
That would be so funny seeing Wolverine drive down the street with like an Abrams. Or a Sherman. Nah, Sherman. He needs a Sherman. He needs to go old school.
No, actually, I'm looking for a MTLB, a BMP2, or a newer BTR.
Why do you want Russian shit?
Because there's so much more reliable than American shit.
Really?
Literally. Yeah, I used to work on them. Don't ask how, don't ask why. But I used to work on T-72s, MTLBs, BMP-1, BMP-2, 2S1 self-propels, BTR-60, BTR-70, MTLB engineer variant, ZSU-23 TAC-4, UAZ 452, UAZ 469. Yeah. Oh, and MT-12 anti-tank guns.
After this war, they'll probably be plentiful because after all the turret toss, nobody's going to want them.
Devno, whenever I see you in a space and I look at your avatar, I think about turret toss. I mean, I just never
That's the
imagined.
point.
I never imagined that turret toss would be part of my vocabulary. That this wasn't on my 2022 and 2023 bucket list, but I guess here we are.
Yeah, turret toss, and you can make art out of it, so it's awesome.
Well, you know what the funny thing is? People are like, "Oh my God, this is a new phenomenon," and I'm sitting here going, "I operated a fucking Soviet tank in T-72 in 2001, 2002, and we already saw it happen in Iraq because they use the same goddamn tanks, or T-72s at least." And so it's like, "Oh my God, turret pop! I've never seen that." It's like, that's because you just don't pay attention sometimes. But that has been an issue with those tanks ever since they made them. And it's stupid. I mean, even the T90M did not completely get rid of that issue. They partially did by having the bustle or the storage in the back of the turret compartmentalized, but they still are sitting on top of rounds and powders. So their turret may not go as pop as easily, but eventually, there is a good possibility that T90M's turret will go pop like a weasel as well.
Pop goes to the weasel.
Oh my God, Par, my man. How you
Yo,
doing?
yeah, I did put up in the nest because I noticed people had put up there about the NetBlocks posting about Dozer teleport being taken down. So I put in the nest the claim that PMC Wagner has some involvement with it, but upon review of everything, it could be just that there are people trying to attribute credit to Wagner for doing this. But it's definitely a done deal because we can see from NetBlocks announcing that.
Yeah, for those who are maybe not familiar, so maybe what's happened.
Brian, you broke up on that. Can you repeat it?
Yeah, just Par, for those who are not familiar with what you're talking about, maybe kind of fill in the blanks. What is this about? Internet out.
Dozer Teleport is a satellite provider for Russia, for the FSB, and several of their military installations, including some of their ships. So if this, them being impacted is a huge advantage.
So Wagner took them down, or was it someone else?
I mean, that's kind of the claim, but from what I see, I can't verify that Wagner has anything to do with it. It could be just that the people who have done it are trying to attribute it to Wagner. I don't know. I'll let you know if I find out.
That would be great. You can, my DMs. I just inquiring minds want to know. I love watching the different
I want to
hacks
know.
going on. Inquiring minds want to know. I want to know.
So, and this is used by Gazprom and all kinds of important infrastructure in Russia.
Yeah, including the FSB itself.
Which is hilarious. I know Ukrainians have hacked Gazprom before, so it's very possible this was done by Ukraine.
Right. I mean, and just the people involved. I mean, you can tell, like the people who are talking about it. These are definitely world class. Because I mean, like me, they refer to networks by the autonomous system number, which is the ASN number that's announced to the world for routing the IP addresses. So I can tell immediately that.
I bet you Anonymous takes credit for it because they take credit for everything.
Yeah, I mean, one of the files about it is posted on anonfiles.com.
They might have hit it. But,
Yeah.
there's some cross-section there. Some Anonymous are, working.
Right. I don't understand what the angle for having Wagner be attributed for doing it is, though.
I think it's just to throw off the scent, probably.
Correct. I mean, you really see a Vatnik sitting behind a computer. They can't even get toilets.
Well, what Wagner does have their troll farm, and it's good at the troll farm. I mean, look what it did to 2016 elections here. But
we should actually silo those two entities for good analytical reasons. By the way, they're entirely different operations.
Yes, that was my butt. You got me before I finished my butt.
Okay. Well, because I actually, at the time when I saw Wagner appear more in the discussion when I was neck deep in IRA stuff, I was trying to see how symbiotic are they or whatever. And it just, eventually I was like, they're really, firewall them. Until otherwise needed, by the way.
Yeah, I have a pretty good system myself because I like to troll the trolls, and you never know when they have other skills besides just trolling. Girl's gotta have her protection.
By the way, National, what I sent you is funded by the Hill Country people of Texas.
Nice.
Hey, Frank.
Hey, I just kind of wanted to follow up. I can't remember the name of the agency that had been hacked, but it was responsible for taking down some social media on the 24th of June belonging to Wagner PMC. Within 36 hours, the site itself had been the subject of a huge data breach, which is available on DDoS Secrets. It's the most recent one, 500 gigabytes of basically everything you need to have an internet spy agency work administratively.
Is that the one that begins with a V? The social media network in Russia begins with